What's up, everybody? I'm back with another episode of the Keep Going podcast. Today's guest is Chuck Swisher. He's the owner of Swisher Beef Co. He's a professional bullfighter, a real estate investor, and just an interesting and positive human being. In this episode, we discuss his journey through rodeo, what it was like to transition to Swisher Beef Co., how it's been investing in real estate, and much more. This was a blast to sit down and not only get to learn about him, but truly see what makes Swisher Beef Co. special and the reason he cares so much about the influence he's leaving in the community and the world around him. I hope you all enjoy this episode. As always, keep going. Appreciate you coming on, brother.
Yeah, no, thank you. Glad to be here.
I think it's cool because it's all new, this relationship, but it already feels kind of regular.
Yeah.
We got to meet last week and I got steaks for my birthday. And then when you were coming by today for the pod, I was like, can you please bring some more?
Yeah.
Now I feel spoiled. I'm getting it from the source twice.
Yeah. Delivery man showing up. That's right. That's
awesome. I appreciate you, Chuck. This is really nice. Yeah. And I know we were talking off the pod, but your consistency with social media and really building the brand with Swisher Beef Co. has been cool to watch because it's been a brand I've seen for a while. But then when I started to indulge in it a little more, now I can see the depth of like how consistent you are and the variety of clips and content and just, I don't know, putting a little bit of meaning behind the name. And I think that's really needed in today's time. Yeah. So I commend you for it. It looks great, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it very much, man. I think I heard Gary Vee a long time ago mention something about trying to post something every day for 6 months. And I'm just a country boy, you know, I'm not a social media expert or anything like that by all means, but I was like, all right, I'm going to see if Gary's right. So I just literally just post these random videos, just try to do something every single day. And slowly, like, they started kind of catching on. And then we post, like I said, my editing is nothing. Literally the video that I get is a video that I post. I don't go through and chop and edit and do whatever. And I post this one video, and the next morning I opened up my Instagram and I was like, what is going on? You know, like I had 100 new followers, 100 likes, 100 comments. I was like, holy smokes, like this is crazy. And I went and looked at the video, and I think right now it's got like 42 million views, which is
that's insane.
The craziest. And it was so funny because whenever I looked at it, I was like, oh, something's wrong here. You know, like 100,000 views for me would be crazy awesome.
Even like 5,000 is crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
Like when you said million, I'm like, holy crap.
And this video literally has almost 43 million views. And now I've like just continued to post. And I was like, dang, Gary Vee was right. And it probably took me 4 or 5 months to ever see that. And it was getting to the point where I was like, he don't know what he's talking about, you know? And then it hit, and now I've got a couple other videos that are 7, 8 million views, and some videos will get 2 or 3 million views. Some will get 3 or 4,000, you know, and it's such a crazy deal. Like I said, I'm not social media savvy. I actually hate social media, but I was just wanting to try something new and try to build the Swisher Beef brand. And it's funny too, because everything I post is legit stuff that we're doing every single day. It's not like me going to put on a show to like post on social media to show you how cool it is to have cows or whatever. You know, it's like literally me in the trenches of having cattle and working on the ranch and stuff. So
that's the coolest part. And I had said it earlier. It's like, even though it may be normal to you, that is the cool part of seeing it. And I don't know what it is about today's time, but it seems like getting a little peek into your normal activities is like the most captivating.
Yeah.
And seeing you do the chores and the daily grind, honestly, like it just, I don't know what it is. I don't know why it hits so hard for people. And something else you do, which it may be intentional, may not, is you stay involved in other people's things. And so I've seen you on so many posts, even my own, which I appreciate it. But like, throughout a lot of people I follow, I see little comments from you or reshares or things like that. So it's like not only with the content you're providing, but also the intention that you're doing with the others. I mean, it's staying in front of me, so I know it's working.
That's kind of always been my motto. Like even with the beef business or rodeo or whatever, is like if you win, to me, I win as well. You know, so if there's any way I can help. Like I said, I'm no big star on social media or anything, but if there's any little thing I can do to help you grow your business And even if it's just me liking a post and commenting on it or sharing it or whatever, it takes me 20 seconds to do something like that. So why wouldn't I do that to help your brand or help anybody else's brand? It's something that I guess I believe in too. It's so simple and easy for somebody to do that. And we're on social media all the time anyway. So why not try to build your friends' businesses up? And that way everybody can win in the end.
Yeah. And like you said, it costs nothing. It's real simple, but that support means so much because now we've built a relationship. So we're on, a talking level, but even with people you don't know, when you see those shares of your stuff or vice versa, it does mean a lot. And in today's time, that's what's needed. Yeah. So it's cool. Yeah. I mean, especially because with you saying like, I'm a country boy, I'm not social media savvy, but I see the importance. Yeah. And like the technical side is cool, but just getting to learn about you and what Swisher Beef Co. is like the most interesting part.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's the people want to see like the real life, the intimate kind of side of things, and don't get me wrong. It's cool to see the crazy cool edited videos or whatever it might be. But whenever it's real and raw, like I said, whenever I go edit a video, usually I cut off a few seconds at the beginning and cut off a few seconds at the end. And that's what I post, So it's literally like the day to day, the real, the raw, like the actual footage and the legit stuff. So,
man, well, tell me a little bit about Swisher Beef. Like, is that something you've been doing for years? Is it brand new? What is it?
So, I started Swisher Beef back in 2018. I wanted to have a plan B outside of rodeo because I knew that I wasn't going to be able to rodeo forever, and I wanted to try and do something that was always going to be needed too. When I was 17 years old, I worked on for a trash company. I literally was a guy on the back of a trash truck, and I was like, this is the worst job ever. Then it got me to think, I was like, if I ever open up a business, it needs to be something that people always need. So I envisioned at 17 years old, I didn't envision Swisher Beef or anything like that, but I envisioned like when I start a business, it's got to be something no matter what's going on in the world that people always need. Like you're always going to need someone to haul your trash off, or you're going to have a huge pile of trash in your front yard and it's going to stink up the place, whatever. So before, I guess I came up with the idea, I was like, what can I do to like provide something that people always need? I was like, what do I always need? I was like, I've got to eat, whether it be breakfast, lunch, or dinner, or one meal a day or 2 meals a day, whatever. It's like, I've always got to eat, no matter if we're going through COVID or if we're living on Mars or whatever, right. People always got to eat. So I was like, if I could start this beef company, it's always going to be needed. So we start in 18 and we slowly get it going. I was talking to a friend at church and he was talking about raising up a beef and feeding it out and butchering it for the family. And I was like, well, why don't I take yours, put them in with mine, and then like that way our steers have buddies to kind of like get fat together, and then like I'll do all the work and I'll just sell it to you. And he's like, that would actually be so much easier for me to take it off of my hands because I got the family, whatever. And so we did that. And then I was like, I'm going to make this was 18 back when I had no idea about Facebook or anything like that. So I was like, I'm going to post it on Facebook just to see. And I've always had a little bit of a following from rodeo because I've been fighting bulls for 20 years.
That is so crazy. How old are you?
35.
And you've been 20 years
fighting
bulls?
I fought bulls for more than half of my life, I started when I was 15 years old, which is wild. But yeah, so I was like, I'm going to post it on Facebook just to see what happens. If I could sell 10 head of beef in this first year, that would be outstanding. Literally within 2 or 3 days, the power of social media, I sold 10 or 15 head within that first month. And I was like, this is actually a business that people need. And then they like the idea of, because it's a small kind of mom and pop type of deal and people love to support local. So I was like, all right, this is good. And then we slowly continued to grow and grow. And then COVID hit. During COVID, rodeo shut down, which to a rodeo guy, if you don't get to rodeo, it's like the world is over, Doing rodeoing for so long, it's like become your life type of thing, just like anything. You do something for so many years, it's like who you are and what you do. And thank God I had this vision when I was 17 to start this business, and it turned out to be the beef business because during COVID, there were 0 rodeos, but the beef deal exploded so much that it was a blessing in disguise that rodeos got shut down because we had so many new customers with beef, so many beef on hand that we couldn't have rodeoed and sold beef at the same time. So it worked out perfect, and it was all aligned because we get all these new customers for the beef during COVID. We're selling beef everywhere to anybody and everybody, and then when rodeos start back up, we have like our whole process down to where it's kind of automatic for us in a way. So everything is for Swisher Beef is still running kind of on its own, but then we get to go rodeo and pick up rodeos and get to be gone and stuff. And so that's how Swisher Beef started. And I remember being in Walmart. I told one of my good friends, Jessica Brewer, I was like, I think I'm going to start this beef deal. We'll just see how it goes. And I've always been somebody like, if I do any of it, I'm going to do all of it type of thing. So I just dove head first and went away. And here we are. It's 2025 now. And
7 years. Yeah.
Swisher Beef is just continuing to grow and grow and grow. And obviously we've been trying to, not just grow our brand, but everybody's brand. We have a handful of friends that wanted to start a beef deal, and it was funny when they approached me about it. They're like, we don't want to step on your toes or steal your customers or whatever. And I said, look at this. I said, Kingfisher is a town of 4,500 people. I said, Swisher Beef alone can't feed Kingfisher. And these people are 2 or 3 hours away from me, And so I was like, for me, the more the merrier, because if your ranch can sell beef to my neighbor and I can sell beef to your neighbor or whatever, it's a win for everybody, because now all these neighbors, all these people taste real ranch beef straight from the ranch. And now they're like, oh, we need to stop buying from like the big grocery stores. We need to start buying local because one, you're supporting mom and pop. You know exactly what you're getting, where you're getting it from. And like the quality of it, it's good, clean quality beef.
Yeah, and what's crazy is the price isn't going to be that different.
Yep.
I mean, when you had sent me a price list a few weeks ago, it's pretty comparable to the grocery store. And another thing is during COVID, when people were freaking out and like the grocery stores were empty, they were like, "Oh, here's a whole nother way." Which it's simple to people that maybe grew up in that ranch life.
Yep.
But even for me, I didn't get my first quarter of a cow until I think 3 years ago. My dad was like, hey, if you want to go in on a cow with me once a year, we can do this. And then it changed my life because I was like, one, you get so much. Two, the quality's so good.
Yep.
And it's just like kind of a big peace of mind that maybe you wouldn't realize maybe when you're a little younger. But as you're aging a little bit and you have that consistent schedule, you're like, oh, well, I always have meat. Like the other day we went to the grocery store and we have quite a few we hit because it's specific things.
Oh, yeah.
And when we were done, we got home and she's like, I feel like we got a lot, but we didn't get that much. I was like, it's because our freezers are always full. So like we're only getting the stuff that you run through. This is always here. So it's a commodity that's important. But people value the local and especially knowing where it's from. That means a lot. And you can taste the difference always. And I was prepping that ribeye that night that I picked it up from you. I was like showing my wife. I was like, look how dark it is. Like just so happy. So I get it. And that was 7 years though. And you said it's feeling more automated. Are you in a point now where you feel like comfortable with whatever type of amount of customers you get? You feel like you can run it through the system? Yeah.
Because now I guess I'm getting to the tail end of my rodeo career. And so we're actually really trying to ramp up Swisher Beef just so it can take over more of my time, I guess, because I won't be traveling as much and stuff. So we're probably butchering around 100, 150 head a year. And I think if we could do 200, 250, that would be like pretty awesome. And because it's funny, like looking back, like whenever I first started, I was like 10 head this year would be awesome. If I could do 10 head a year, that would be fantastic.
Yeah, because that's a good amount of money.
Yeah. Now we're doing 100, 150 head a year, so crazy. Which is, it's unreal. And I think it's literally, there's a reason for all of it. And like I said, I think it's something that people want, something people obviously need. To me, I think beef is never going to go out of style.
Yeah.
There's no getting rid of it, and
no comparison.
Yeah.
Either.
Yeah, exactly.
Take me through the process then. Like you raise them, obviously, but take me through like the timeline for raising them, and then the butcher process. You do it.
No, so we use a local butcher that's about 5 or 10 minutes from the house.
Okay, so take me through that process just so I can know if I was to order some.
Yeah, so whenever we first started, we had a set of mama cows, and every year the mama cows would have a calf, obviously. And whenever it came time, I guess before we actually started, whenever it came time for us to sell the calves at market, the cattle market is kind of like real estate in a way. Like it's so up and down, and sometimes it's rock bottom, and sometimes it's sky high. But we never knew whenever we sold those calves if we're actually going to make any money or not. So I was like, how do we as a small ranch make money? So that's where the Swisher Beef came in. You know, if we can cut out the middleman of we sell them our beef and then they sell beef to customers, now we keep our beef and then we feed it out and we sell it to customers. So we would take that calf, probably 6 to 8 months old. We'd wean him off its mom, just like you would a kid or a dog or whatever, you know. And then we kind of turn it into a small little lot. And we feed it. We slowly get it started on feed, and we'll feed at least 120 days on this. It's an actual butcher ration is what it is. It's designed specifically for butcher beef. And it's all good, clean feed. And we feed it for 120 days, and whenever they get up to size, we'll take them to Dover, which is the butcher plant's called Rios Processing. They butcher maybe 10 or 12 head a week type of thing.
And that's where you're from, is Dover,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, born and raised in Dover. So it's Rios Butcher. I've known them my whole life. I actually went to school with one of their daughters. Super great people. We'll take them there, and whenever you say, hey, I want my ribeyes 1.5 inches, I want my New York strips 1 inch, I want 2 pounds per pack of hamburger meat or 1 pound, whatever, they're the ones in there literally chopping it up, putting it in packages. They put it in the freezer, and then it'd be time for you to come pick it up. And if you order a quarter, half, or whole beef.
Yeah.
So if you're ordering just steaks or whatever, usually what we do is, like Carolyn and I we'll get one butchered for us, but we could sell you 2 steaks or 20 pounds of hamburger meat, whatever we have in our freezer at the time, you know. Mm-hmm. So
yeah, and I get it, because the majority of the time you want to buy the bulk amount.
Yeah.
As far as the butchering process, then, because earlier you said some people want to see their cow, some people don't.
Yeah.
What's that balance for you? For you, it's normal, but for someone that maybe isn't accustomed to that lifestyle, what's it like for you to raise them, knowing that you're going to take them there, get butchered, and, you know, be able to not only provide sustenance to you, but to other people?
Yeah.
How's that feel for you?
Yeah. So, you know, whenever I first started, it's like, oh no, that like sweet little baby calf is like, we're going to have to kill it and eat it type of thing. But now it's like, I believe that cattle were designed to eat. You know, obviously we can't eat all of them, because if we eat all of them, we're not going to have any left type of thing. So you have your certain cattle. So your mama cows are the ones that continue to have calves every year. Depending on the calf, you can either keep it back for a mama cow, or you cut it. If it's a bull, you would cut it into a steer, which is like you cut the testicles off of it. And then the steers are what we feed and we butcher. My wife, whenever like when we first got married, she's like, oh, we're going to go and name all these cows or all the steers in the pen. I was like, no, like we don't name our dinner, because you don't want to get too attached to it. But I guess to me now, it's like, it's such a cool thing to be able to see it from its mama to being a baby to growing up, and like kind of see the whole genetics behind it, and then see how it grows. Because next year we might need to change a bull out, or maybe this cow isn't having such a good calf or whatever, you know. So we see the whole process. And now, like taking them to the butcher, I actually love staying at the butcher, watching them skin it and gut it and everything, just because, like, to me, like, I'm super curious about everything, you know. Like, I don't want to get in your business, but I want to see the business side of your business, you know, just because I can take what you're doing with your job, and I might be able to use it on the ranch and maybe help something that I've got going on to make it a little bit better, you know. Not like, I don't care to be nosy or care to know how much you make or anything like that, but it's cool to like take some tidbits from your business and maybe add them to mine, and maybe I can make my business a little bit better. Or I can be like, have you ever tried doing this? You know, this might help you too. So I guess what I'm saying is I'm into everybody's business in a way, just because I'm curious about it, you know. But yeah, no, now I love to sit at the butcher shop and watch them run through the chute and do their thing, and then they'll wheel them into the big cooler, and then you go around into the actual shop and you're seeing them like cut the ribeye strip off of a half a beef or whatever, you know. And it's so cool just to see the ins and outs of it, and to me, obviously too, it's good for me to know that stuff. That way I can come back to you and be like, oh yeah, this cut comes from here, or this is from this part or whatever. I don't know, that's an okay steak, but I might not eat it, or I would grind it, or this is how I would cook that piece of beef or whatever. So it's good, I guess, on my side to literally know from birth to plate, I guess you could say, all about the beef and all of that too. So,
well, I agree, because like some people would say that they want like the detachment where they don't know where it comes from, because then they don't have to like feel bad or something like that. But I started hunting maybe 6 years ago or 5 years ago. So I just started butchering animals.
Yeah.
And it's like, it has to be done.
Yep.
So I don't know what it is, but it does feel like another level of like a notch on your belt of like accomplishments when you're like, I can be okay with that.
Yeah.
Now the thing, and I'm speaking for you, but I know this is how it is. You all probably treat those cattle with like the utmost respect.
Yeah.
And then that's just part of the life cycle. Like it's interesting that people would rather just go buy it and then have no idea instead of you seeing it from start to finish. Yep. They would think that maybe you'd be the insensitive one. Yeah. But it kind of seems like it's the other from the outside looking in.
Yeah. Just to give you an idea. So like whenever you go to the big grocery stores to buy your beef, they actually did a test on 1 pound of hamburger meat. And in this 1 pound, there was over 500 different DNAs in 1 pound of hamburger meat, which means there's over 500 different cows in one. So in ours, it's literally our little butcher shop. Like I said, they butcher 10 to 12 a week. The big brand grocery stores, those butcher shops are butchering 10,000 head a day. So it's literally, when you think about 10 to 12 a week versus 10,000 a day, like it's this huge conveyor belt of cattle. And at the end, it all comes like it's all on the same conveyor belt, 10,000 a day. That's crazy. So for us to be able to like show people like the behind the scenes, I guess you could say, of like what Swisher Beef is and what the small ranch is. And I'm not just saying Swisher Beef is the best. There's a ton of small ranches in Oklahoma that are selling beef like we are. And I would advise anybody to go buy beef from any of these people, and then try it next to your grocery store beef just to see. But I know whenever ours goes to butcher, it gets willed into the hanging room, the fridge or whatever you'd call it. And then whenever they go to actually cut it, it's the only beef on the table. So if you buy a half beef or a quarter beef or whatever, your beef is the only one on the table at the time. They go through, they chop it up, do whatever, package it, put your name on it, slide it into the freezer, and then like everything gets cleaned. And then the next person's half beef or whole beef or whatever comes out, and then they chop it up. So it's not like they're butchering yours and mine and his and hers all together. Yeah. It's literally like your beef is your beef. So you can go and do a DNA test on our beef, and there's only going to be one strand of DNA in it because it's all from the same calf.
It's so important too. Like maybe not to everybody if they're not trying to be that in depth, but man, it's a game changer.
Yep.
Like for me, it started, I didn't buy a cow until after I had hunted, but my first deer I ever got, I was with my aunt and she was like, all right, now we're going to take it to the processor because that's what we do. Yeah. I know you can butcher, or my husband can butcher it, but this is what we do. Mm-hmm. And I took it to the processor, just followed their lead. And then they were like, all right, you'll come back in 2 weeks and pick it up and then go from there. Yep. So in 2 weeks, I met my aunt, got the box of meat, came home, and I was like, one, I liked that I knew that, like, I had taken the deer there. Yep. But I was like, man, if they could do it, I could do it as well. And that even brings you, like, a step even closer. Because at least with yours, it's guaranteed that it's one cow. Yeah. But you don't know with those processing plants if you're getting, like, all yours back. Yep. Once I started doing that with deer and birds and waterfowl and things, then the beef became so important. And then when I started buying the quarters, I was like, there's almost no... Like right now, I'm trying to figure out a consistent like chicken place. Yeah. Like where can I find a farmer that I like that keeps chicken? Because that seems to be the only outlier. But once you start being more intentional about it, I don't think there's a way to go back.
Yeah. And two, I think once you taste it, and then you go back and taste the other, then you're like, there's something fishy about this grocery store beef. And it's funny. I went to a really popular grocery store in Edmond. And I bought one of the best looking ribeyes they had. And I put it on a plate and I put one of our ribeyes on a plate. And I took pictures of the whole process of like in the package, out of the package, salted, peppered, on the stove, cooked, back on the plate. And I chopped them up the exact same and then I slid them to my wife. And I knew one was from Edmond, the grocery store, then one was Swisher Beef. And I slid them to my wife and she goes eating. She took a bite of both of them, and she's like, "You're not going to like this." I was like, "Well, tell me which one." And she's like, this is the one that tastes way better. And I was like, well, what you don't know is this is ours, and this is from the grocery store. And this is like 100% true. I didn't tell her, like for the video or for the gram, like I was curious myself. And so I fed her both of them, and she's like, there's just something about this one that tastes way better. This one just doesn't taste right or whatever, And don't get me wrong, like some grocery stores sell fantastic beef, but there's no comparing to an actual like home raised local farm to table beef.
Yeah, there's nothing. Even the other night when we cooked it for my birthday dinner, it was amazing. Yeah. And then I think it was 3 nights ago, we did the fillets.
Oh, yeah.
And I told you those are my wife's favorite.
Yeah.
So when I made those, like, she was just in heaven. And it is different. I almost can't, I don't know. I don't think I could give, if you were to say, Zach, what is the taste you're tasting? I almost can't tell. It's like what I'm not tasting actually.
Yeah.
If I were to put it into words, it's like the cleanliness of it more than anything.
Yeah.
And like, no, I'm just tasting beef.
Yeah. And that goes back to where we're such a small, I guess, mom and pop shop that like we control the feed, we control the cattle. And honestly, we could get cattle that are super cheap that might have a broken leg or might kind of act funny or whatever, and we could make a killing off those. But our goal is to have the best cattle up front, start them on feed, and feed them the best feed possible, and then use the best butcher that we know, because we want the whole process. So whenever we sell you beef, we want you to be like, Chuck, like if we buy beef from anybody, it's going to be you, unless we're out of the country or something like that, So I always tell customers is like, my goal is whenever you buy beef from Swisher Beef, we want to be the people you buy beef from for the rest of your beef eating life, So like that's the whole goal. So for us to spend a little bit more money up front, having the better calves, having the better feed, using the better butcher shop, it might cost us more. We might not make as much more, but if we could have you buying beef for, how old are you now?
I'm 33. So
say for the next 50 years, you buy beef from us. To me, that's more of a win than me making a couple extra $100 up front, Yeah. So if I can spread out you buying beef for the next 40 or 50 years, rather than saving a chunk of money up front, and then if you taste something bad, you might not ever come back. But now the goal is give you the best quality possible, so you just continue to come back and back and back.
Yeah, I think the quality is the most important, because it would be very disappointing to go through the local beef branch and like make this decision that you want to value the local, and then you buy it and it doesn't stand up to what you want. That's going to just completely steer you away.
Yeah, and that's what I always tell all of our customers, and it kind of scares me in a way too, because one, I tell the customers like, hey, if you buy 1 pack of hamburger meat or if you buy 100 from us, we want to know if it's good or bad. And like I always tell them, like, don't feel bad if you don't like it or whatever. We want to know, because if it's something that we can change or give you your money back or whatever, that's what we're going to do, because we want you to have the best experience ever. But then too, there's a lot of, like I said, there's a lot of good ranches around, but then there's some of the ranches that are like, we'll just grab that one out of the pasture, or do this or that to make a quick buck. Now you try that beef from the local rancher, and you're like, this isn't as good as the grocery store beef, so we're just going to continue to buy from the grocery store. So that's kind of the catch-22 of the whole thing. And I guess, like I said, my goal is to give you the best quality possible. So whether you buy from me or buy from the next local ranch, like that's the goal, is to just shop local and support your local rancher.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's important, because when you were saying like the next 50 years or something like that, like imagine how consistent your body's going to feel.
Yeah.
If you're eating similar beef the whole time as well.
Yep, exactly.
Like, it's just consistency.
Yeah.
What would you say then is one thing, now that you've created such a good system, you have such a high like standard of quality, how do you feel, or what do you feel about providing this to people?
I think it's one of my gifts from God in a way. It's like I said, my goal was to start a business that people always need. And I talked with Mike Hearn about it a little bit, and we went to Calgary, Alberta for a wedding for one of my wife's cousins. And this random guy came up and was like, have you ever thought about that you're literally like putting food on people's tables and you're bringing families together? And at the moment, I never did. And I was like, it's actually kind of cool when like you can be the guy to bring somebody else's family to the table, in a way. And like, to me, like some of my best memories growing up, and even now, you know, sitting at the table with my wife across from the table, eating a big chunk of beef or whatever it might be. It's such a cool memory to look back on. Now it's such a cool thing to think about, like, oh, now Zach's family is sitting at the table with his family, you know, because we provided them beef. And so now they're sharing a meal, discussing, like, having a good time, like family conversation, whatever, you know, because we have our beef business and they bought from us. So
it's funny, like that day for my birthday, I was literally like, I just want to get some good steaks and then cook it something simple at the house. And I did some really simple things on the side, good veggies. Like I think I did some pickled style, like cabbage too, just simple stuff. Mm-hmm. But the freaking star of the show was like that ribeye just sliced, looking perfect, little gravy or sauce from the pan on the side, and just looking at it. So, and that's just me, you know. And like that night when I had texted you, I was like, hey, it was great, by the way. You're like, I was just about to text you, because for the listeners, you said the same thing to me when you met me with that beef. You said, hey, tell me if there's something we can change. And I was like, I can tell you if it's good or bad. I don't know about changing things. Like, I don't know what I would know, but like that transparency and vulnerability is important. Yep. And then when the product does stand up to this high standard, it's like making it double down. Yeah. Because you were so transparent throughout. So I love that. Yeah, exactly. And that's what I think people like. I guess for me, like, it's the same thing with me posting on social media, is like what you see is what you get. Like, what I tell you is, it's me. I'm not going to be like, oh yeah, hey Zach, like we're best buddies. Yeah, this beef is the best, yada, yada. You know, it's like, hey, try this. If you love it, tell me. If you hate it, tell me. Because we want to obviously be transparent and know, but then too, like, we want to be real with people. We don't want to put on a show, you know, to try and be better than what we are or whatever. Like I said, we're just country folk that we do our best to raise the best quality beef as we can possible. So, I mean, I appreciate you breaking it down for me. Yeah. And as a new customer, it's been great. Yeah. So that's a win in itself for me, just knowing that I've branched out and it's working. Yeah. So thank you. Yep, for sure. As far as where you're from, I know you are from Dover. Yep. But can you kind of tell me about like your experience with bullfighting, why that's even a thing that's in your legacy, and like let me in on that world? Because you'd be the first bullfighter I've ever interviewed, and I don't know much about it. Yeah. So I was born and raised in Dover, a town of 300 people, super, super small town. I started fighting bulls when I was 15 years old. My dad used to actually ride bulls a long, long time ago, and he actually retired before I was born. Fighting and riding is different? Yeah, correct. Sorry, no, you're good. So riding is the guy that's on it. The 8 seconds. Yep. And then fighting is the guy. So whenever the guy gets bucked off the bull, I'm the guy that runs in there, distracts the bull, kind of like the rodeo clown in a way. Mm-hmm. I distract the bull away from the fallen rider. Oof. And so it used to be the rodeo clown was the guy who was the bullfighter, and he would tell the jokes. Now it's transitioned to where the bullfighter is like, I'm the athlete of my own. So I go in, distract the bull. The rodeo clown is the guy who has the microphone and tells the jokes, kind of like MC. Yeah, kind of on the side. So, my dad used to ride bulls, and I don't know if I came across a photo of him or what, but of him riding a bull. And like I said, I was 14, 15 years old, and I was like, my dad was a cowboy. Like, this is badass, you know. You didn't grow up as a cowboy? No, I grew up in the country. I grew up riding a skateboard around town. I was going to be the next Tony Hawk, the next big thing. I was terrible at skateboarding. Well, on the side, skateboarding is one of those things where they say it's crazy because it's something you majority of the time fail at. Yeah, well, like it's like 95% failure. Then every once in a while you land the trick. Oh yeah. And I think the only trick I could ever do is a kickflip maybe, and I did that once out of a million times. And, but yeah, so I grew up riding a bike and a skateboard around town. I had flat bill cap, the big tongue van shoes, you know. And then I found that picture of my dad riding bulls, and I was like, I need to be a cowboy. Like, I need to be like my dad. So I traded my Vans and my flat bill for a cowboy hat and cowboy boots. It was so funny because like I vividly remember going to school one day dressed as a skater. The next day I was in like a big cowboy looking jacket, and I had my cowboy hat and my cowboy boots, and people are like, just overnight. Yeah. They're like, is this a new kid or who's, because Dover, like I said, I think I graduated with 20, 25 kids. So, you know, everybody in the entire town, let alone the school. I transitioned from a skater to a cowboy. And then my parents actually bought me all the gear to ride bulls. And whenever it came down to it, I was too scared to ever get on one. And I was like, I'm too scared to actually get on one, but maybe I could
try fighting them instead. So
It seems like they'd both be scary, though. How'd you balance those two?
well, I don't know. For me, it's like being on them. You got to hang on. And then once you get bucked off or whatever, you don't know what you're doing. You're just running blind. Being a bullfighter, you know how to control the animal. You know how to kind of control the situation. You know how to get in, get away, try to do your job that way rather than just hang on for 8 seconds and then hope you live after type of thing. Now it's like I can somewhat control the situation. I know what the bull's going to do half the time. And so for me, it's a little bit, it is funny because like looking at it now, it's like they're both the stupidest jobs in the world, you know,
Right.
and every now and then after a rodeo, I'll get beat up or something. And I'm like, I should have got a job in McDonald's, you know, flipping burgers. It'd have been so much easier. But yeah, no, I started fighting bulls when I was 15. And the best part is growing up, my mom wouldn't let me have a motorcycle or play football because they're both too dangerous. But at 15 years old, she let me start fighting bulls, which is the craziest thing ever, you know.
Well, this works.
Yeah. And so we started it's kind of cool because like I was at the same level of rodeo as I was my age for a while, you know. So 15 years old, I was doing some junior rodeos, like junior high school. Then 16, 17, kind of worked some high school rodeos, college rodeos, then kind of open rodeos, which is like the local rodeo you'd go see here or something. And then I think I was 21 or 22 and I got my PRCA card, which is like your pro card. And the goal for having your pro card is to be able to work the National Finals Rodeo, which is the big rodeo going on in Vegas. Actually, it starts tonight
Really?
Yeah, the night of the rodeo this year. And so the goal was to be able to work the National Finals. So got my card in 2011, 2012, and then in 2014, I actually got to work the NFR out in Vegas, which is the Super Bowl of rodeos, you know. So it was a dream come true, like very early in my pro career.
You're only, what, 22 you said?
At the time, I was 24 when I worked the
24.
finals. Yep.
Were you nervous or were you feeling like you were ready?
I was a nervous wreck, man. It was so funny because it's in the Thomas and Mack Arena at Vegas, and there's this long tunnel from the locker room to the actual arena. And I swear they put these trash cans there for me. There's like every 5 foot, there's a trash can. And
So you can just throw up?
Oh, yeah. And over every one of them, I was dry heaving, you know. And it's funny because it's the same riders, the same bulls that we've seen all year long, you know. It's just the National Finals Rodeo. You know, it's like so much bigger than I made it in my head type of thing. I'll never forget, like I'm over each trash can, dry heaving, get to the last one. And at the very end, there's a security guard and his arms are crossed and he was just looking straight. And I was, from me to you, to the trash can to him. And I was just dry heaving over it. And he never looks down, never moves. He just keeps looking forward. And he says, you know, Joe Bumgardner would throw up in that trash can every performance is here. And Joe is the rodeo legend. Okay. He worked the NFR like 12 or 15 times or something, you know, so superstar. And I was like, well, if Joe Bumgardner threw up in the trash can, I must be in good company. And then it's funny, I'll never forget, we stepped foot on the dirt, and it was just
like clockwork.
Yeah, everything went away, just another day in the office, and it was super awesome, yeah.
Dang, at 24. So you had only been doing it, 8 or 9 years.
Yeah.
Which is wild because you said when I do stuff, I do it all the way.
Yeah.
You went all the way.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
What was that first one like then when you were doing it? Like once you're on the dirt and all of that, did you have a good experience?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Issues?
Looking back now, it's like it was all... Like I feel like I blacked out. So the NFR is 10 nights in a row.
Damn.
And I remember stepping in, and then I felt like whenever I was stepping out, like the rodeo was over, like the whole 10 nights was over. You know, it was such a cool experience. We did our job the best we could, and like it felt like it just happened so fast. But it was amazing. You know, obviously, and it's everybody's dream. Everybody that's still. That might have been fighting bulls now for 15, 20 years. They want to work the finals, or the kids that are just now getting a pro card. Like that's their goal. That's everybody's goal in rodeo is to make it to the Super Bowl of rodeos.
What did you have to do to get to that point though? Like were you at these local rodeos and you were just like the best equipped fighter and they're like, oh, we need to keep moving him up? Like, I don't know that process.
Yeah. So it's something that you have to do yourself. So like I said, I would slowly like I'm my own agent, so I'm out booking my own rodeos. I'm booking my own travel, doing all the stuff myself. So like I'm slowly like at the junior high level, and I'm good there. So like we're slowly moving up, and I'm starting to book more jobs. And like say I worked for you for a while, and now I'm like, oh, this guy over here has got some bigger better rodeos or whatever. So now I'm starting to book some from him, and then you just slowly like ladder yourself up. And then in the PRCA, once you get your card, you have to work a certain amount of rodeos a year to like maintain your card. But then to actually get the finals, the top 20 bull riders in the world vote on you. So there might be 300 to 500 bullfighters. Out of those 300 to 500, the top 20 guys, they narrow it down to 5 guys.
Damn.
And so we call that the short list. So the 20 guys vote for 5 dudes, the 5 bullfighters that they want to see at the finals. And then the next week they go back and then they vote for 3. Oh. So it's only the top 3 bullfighters that get to work the finals. So like I said, it's the Super Bowl of rodeo. Like not everybody gets to do it. It's like you got to be selected. You obviously got to do good throughout the entire year and everything. So
top 3 out of hundreds though is crazy.
Yeah.
And to know that those bull riders picked you.
Yeah.
Like, no, I feel that, because really it makes me think they feel the safest with this guy.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly. And that's pretty much what it is, you know. And there can be a lot of politics and stuff that go into it. But to me, I was like I am with the beef. Like I'm not going to sugarcoat nothing. Like, hey, this is what you get. If you like it, great. If you don't,
that's fine too.
Yeah, that's fine too. Like we'll continue to just do our job and do the best we can and go from there. So
what's the process of like learning how to fight a bull? Like are you like starting with smaller ones and like you work your way up? And also explain to me like what you're even doing. Is it misdirection? Like what are you doing?
Yeah. So whenever my parents took me to a bullfighting camp, the first day they literally chased us around with a wheelbarrow. So it's very, like a bull is very similar to a wheelbarrow. Like you can't turn super sharp, or the bull can't turn super sharp. So the goal is whenever a bull is coming at you, like you can't run straight because 4 legs are out going to run 2 all day of the week. So the thing is, if you can get that bull to bend his neck and you can run tight circles, that bull isn't full speed coming at you in the tight circles, you know, so you can maneuver around the bull faster that way. So if you're ever somewhere and the bull chases you, don't run straight.
You almost want to be closer?
Yeah, the closer you are, the better.
Wow.
But then to I guess to do my job is like we're reading the situation. So when the guy is on the bull, we can tell like when he's out of position or he's about to get bucked off. And bulls go off of seeing you, hearing you, and feeling you. Okay. So you'll see us like we'll run up, maybe throw our arms up. You can see us holler half the time, or we're reaching in and we're actually grabbing the bull's head to like get his attention more.
Now
so
on me.
Yeah, that way whenever we see you coming off, we're trying to read the situation like, all right, he's about to get thrown this way, so we're moving in to position whichever way it is to and it's kind of like we're trying to read the future in a way, you know, like we're trying to see what's going to happen before it ever happens, and we're not how do I say it? It's not like I guess it's a muscle memory thing, you know, like we've done it so much that we know, like we can't think about it. It's like, all right, we see it, we're doing it, rather than, we're doing this, now we're thinking about it, and this is going to happen. Not enough time. So you got to see it and you got to do it type of thing. And yeah, so literally we're moving into position as you're already going. And then usually you're with the partner, you know, so the goal too is to stay 180 degrees on either side of the bull.
Always rotating.
Yeah, and sometimes there's 3 of us, so it's kind of like we'll have a triangle around the bull. That way we've got as many sides covered as possible, you know. And usually what I always tell young kids is the wheels on the bus go round and round. So the same thing, if the bull's out there spinning, it's easier to keep him in the spin rather than to go and stop him and make his whole momentum switch and go back the other way. So if you can get the bull rider out of the situation as the bull is continuing to go the way that he wants to go, it's a little bit easier for everybody. And sometimes you got to make the bull go the other way. But most of the time, if you can keep the bull spinning that way, it's smoother and easier. And usually, like, if you go and watch a rodeo, you won't really notice the bullfighters if they're doing a really good job.
Because it's so quick, huh?
Yeah.
So efficient.
Yeah, because that's our goal, is to get in, do our job, and get out and be done.
Do you lead them back into the gate?
No, so usually, like, those bulls are they're very high dollar bulls. Like, it's kind of like racehorses, you know, like they're bred to do it. And so whenever that bull,
when you say high dollar, just for my curiosity, what's high dollar?
Anywhere from $50,000 to $200,000, which is wild for an animal, you know. But yeah, usually whenever those bulls buck the guys off, some of them, like, they'll literally stop bucking and just turn and walk out the gate. Some of them got an attitude, which is why we have jobs, you know. We can kind of detour them from the guy, and then the bull might chase us or chase somebody, whatever.
And you feel confident though that if it's chasing you, that you're going to be fine.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
yeah.
And then, like, do you want to? Are you waiting for him to get tired, or like, how do you solve? How are you complete?
Well, you kind of know whenever. It's like anything, you know, like working a real estate deal. You know when you're almost to the finish line, and then when you get to the finish line, you can kind of peel out, type of thing, you know.
Okay.
But like in the moment, you're like, all right, these are the numbers. This is what we got to do. We got to call the bank. We got to call the insurance. This and this and this. It's the same thing with fighting bulls. You got to stay in the moment. But then when you can kind of see the door open, I guess, then you can slowly back out a little bit. And the bull goes off pressure too. So if I'm me to you from a bull, obviously you're going to notice me. But if I'm me or from you to the kitchen, I might not be your main priority. But then too, whenever the bull sees the gate open, the bull's done it as many times as we have sometimes. So he's like, all right, now I can go home.
And then I'm done.
Yeah, then I'm done. Like my food and my water is back there. So it's home free now. So,
Dang. So what's your relationship like with bulls? Are you like real in tune? When you're around them, not just the ones that you're fighting, but like in general.
Yeah. You know, like after being around, like even cattle at the ranch and rodeos and stuff so much, like I can kind of control a calf or a bull or whatever, depending on the situation. You know, like if we're sorting calves at the house in the pen, like I can step to a certain side because I guess I'm cattle savvy enough to know, like, all right, if I step over here, I need this calf to turn this way so I can see its ear tag or whatever, or I can step over here and sort this calf off of the herd so I can doctor it or load it on the trailer or do whatever it is, you know. So it's kind of like anything, you know. You walking into a house, you're like, oh yeah, it needs paint, the floor's bad, the roof's bad. Like, you know it as you walk in type of thing, you know, because you've done it so many times.
I guess it's just crazy because the variable of it being an animal.
Yeah. And that's the thing is a lot of people don't know, but like whenever we go into an arena, like some bulls, you can, just like these dogs, they're just huge pets. You can be in the back. You can literally sit on their back in the back pens, totally fine.
Oh, the bucking one?
Yeah. But whenever you put them in the chute and they're like, the bulls, it's time for them to work, like they can flip a switch and they'll be
so wild.
Pissed off and crazy, you know? So like for me, it's never really like I know this bull. I know he's going to do this. It's like, a bull's a bull. You don't know what he's going to do till he does it. So you just got to be able to react to the situation as fast as you can, no matter if he's a gentle pet or if he's mean and going to run everybody over.
What do you think your worst experience has been bullfighting?
Or
one of them, because it's hard to pick
yeah.
one. You've done it for 20 years.
Yeah. When I was 17, I broke some bones in my neck, had a bull get me. I was paralyzed for like 10 minutes.
Get you? Like,
so just like run me over. So like obviously it's a 1,500 to 2,000 pound animal. Yeah. And if it hits me, I'm 200 pound guy. So he's going to fling me or stomp me or whatever, you know? So, that's kind of part of the job. It's like our goal is to protect the rider at all costs. So if someone's going to get run over, like we should be the someone type of thing. We both might get run over, but we probably better be in there with them getting run over too. The bull rider, that is. And so I was 17 and a bull hooked me, broke some bones in my neck, paralyzed me for like 10 or 15 minutes. And it was wild because I was 17 years old and it's like, I'm going to fight bulls forever. I tore my ACL in my knee. I went to throw a fake on a bull because you can kind of outmaneuver a bull, kind of like a running back in football. You know, you kind of juke and jive. I went to juke on a bull and my knee just popped out and the bull hooked me and I got up and I finished the bullfight or whatever.
Damn.
And it was the craziest thing because the next day I woke up, I was like, I'm sore, but like the other leg was sore. So I was like, I'm going to go for a jog. Went for a jog. Everything felt fine. And then that night in the rodeo, I planted on my other leg and I felt my knee like shift. And I was like, that doesn't feel right. Mm-hmm. Sure enough, tore my ACL, broken ribs, been knocked out a time or two, some stitches in my chin, broken arm. I broke my foot just 4 or 5 weeks ago at a rodeo.
Damn.
Yeah, so it's funny because like to me like that's a very that's very successful career, you know. Mm-hmm. But to anybody that might have an office job, they're like, you broke your arm, like some people got to be in a pretty bad car wreck for something like that to happen, you know. But like for a rodeo guy,
that's a pretty good track record.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome, you know.
That's wild. How cool though, especially doing it 20 years. So you were fighting a bull 4 or 5 weeks ago?
Yeah. Yep.
What's the difference between being like, So you're 35, you said?
Yep.
What's it like being more mature now versus like in your 20s when you first went pro? Like, do you get, this may be a dumb question, but do you get better? Is your anticipation better? And then there's like a level where it's like time to call it because you may slow down, or what's that look like?
Yeah. So it's funny. I remember one of my very first rodeos I ever worked. Like, I was so psyched up on adrenaline that like I feel like I just blacked out. Like, I walked into the arena and I blacked out. Like, I don't know what happened. My adrenaline was going so much now. It's like me rolling my chair up to the office desk. Like, I can control the situation. I can control my mind way more. And it's so funny now. It's like it's all slow motion for me. So a bull's out here bucking, the guy's on him, and I can control the situation and control my mind so much that I can see dirt clods flying at me in slow motion. So every now and then you might watch a video of me and you see me doing this, but it's actually like there's dirt clods flying by and I'm trying not to get them in my eye or whatever, you know.
And
so
the crowd at that point is just like a blur. You just see the bull.
Yep. My focus is on the bull and the rider,
cool. And that focus is insane.
Yeah, and it's just like anything, you know. Your first time driving a car, it's like, oh my God, I'm so scared. You know, I got all this power, and then now it's like cruising. You got the music cranked and the AC blasting, and now it's just natural. And it's the same thing with fighting bulls. You know, the more you do it, the better you get, and the more you start to realize stuff. And the thing too with fighting bulls is, they're breeding these bulls to be better and better and bigger and stronger every year. So
like to be better at fighting.
Yeah.
Like,
so now I've got to, like, I can't just stay the same Chuck all the time. You know, now I've got to like continue to work out, train harder, watch more film, and continue to get to be a better bullfighter as well, because the bulls aren't staying the same. They're getting better. So if I stay the same, I'm going to be way behind. So I got to continue to grow and try to meet the bulls at the top, I guess you could say.
What would what role would strength play? Because I would think that the strength is more to protect you from injury.
Yep.
Because obviously it's like training horses or anything.
Yeah.
Like, because I was with a lady that was training horses, and she's like, you're never going to be able to make them do what you want.
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to be stronger. So is the strength like making sure you're well insulated, but it comes down to your skill set?
Yeah. So used to, whenever I would go to the gym, I would love to like deadlift and squat and bench as much as I can, you know, because I wanted to be like strong and tough. But being a bullfighter, I'm not lifting anything up. I'm not pushing anything around. So to be a bullfighter, you need more air in your lungs, and you need to be able to juke and jive quick.
So just agility, tendon strength.
Yeah. So we call it,
muscles.
we call it quick twitch muscles. So you need to be able to get here and then be gone in a hurry, you know. So it's very much similar to a running back, you know. It's good to go and kind of have some muscle, but having too much muscle, you're big, bulky, you can't really move. But if you got enough muscle and you got some air in your lungs to where you can run and sprint and then stop and then sprint back the other way, that's kind of what you need to be a bullfighter.
So it'd be like a lot of endurance and mobility.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yep.
Well, man, so when you started you so quickly became pro level, what was it about you that like got you in that top 3 so fast? Like, I know it's weird to tell me like what was your best quality, but like what made you so good at it?
Man, I think just because that's just what I ate, slept, and breathed bullfighting. You know, that's all I wanted to do. That's all I cared about, and that's what my entire focus was on. Because I think whenever it doesn't matter who you are or what you want to do, I think if you you focus on it 100% and like dedicate yourself to it, then there's nothing stopping you. And I think that's so cool. And it's like I said, it could go to real estate or the beef side or whatever. You know, it's like now it's like I can see myself getting older, and I know I'm not going to be able to fight bulls forever. And I wouldn't say I've lost my passion for fighting bulls, but I don't know if I love it as much as I did when I was 20 years old, if that makes sense.
Would it be something similar to like MMA or combat sports, to where like if you're not all the way in, you should kind of get out?
Yeah, very much so, because
that's when you make a mistake.
Yeah, because my job is literally protecting somebody else. So if I'm half-assing it, now you run the risk of getting hurt on my behalf because I'm not doing my full job.
Or you getting really hurt.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So the thing is you should probably, when you're in bullfighting, you're in rodeo, you need to be in rodeo. And now I can see myself transitioning out of it. That's why I'm going to go one more year and kind of have the hoorah year and have fun. And then beef is going to take over and we're going to step away and be done with rodeo.
That's cool. Man, thank you for sharing all that.
Yeah.
Especially for someone that doesn't know much. It's cool because I wanted to get into horses and things like that in the last year because I didn't want to be a Comanche that didn't know how to ride a horse. Yeah. But since then, I've gotten a lot of exposure with people that either like barrel race or you with the bullfighting or training. So it's been a nice world to get into because I'm like, oh, now that's interesting, or oh, okay, that's what they're doing at the rodeo. So it's interesting to get the different points, especially for you doing it at such a young age. Like, I'm guessing since you were so young, your concept of like danger was low.
Oh yeah.
And then you got good at it. So then it's like kids that rock climb from when they're like 4 or 5. It's like, they're doing badass shit when they're 12. They've been doing it for 8 years.
Yeah. And it's something this is what we've always done. So it's not that big. Like to me, it's not that big of a deal. To you, it's obviously
it's
like
a big deal.
Like a foreign concept, you don't really you can't grasp
it. I've never even touched a bull.
Yeah. So and for me, it's just honestly another day in the office. And like I said, the more you do it, the more comfortable you get with it and the better you get at it.
I wonder if like the bulls can sense it too. Like if they can sense when it's this may be goofy, but just like a qualified bullfighter, because I bet the level of fear is low and like the focus is high. So I wonder if they can feel that energy where they're like, I don't know if I can just like screw him over.
I think you're right, because I think whenever they first kind of come at you, it's like that's their do or die type of thing, and they're either going to get you or they're not. And then if they don't get you, they're like, ah, crap, like this guy knows his stuff type of thing, So I think you got something there for sure.
No, I was watching this lady, her name's Kelly, and she's a small lady in her 60s, just ripped because that's how you farm people are. But she was training a horse, and then it was getting an attitude, and she yelled at it like a toddler. And it was funny how hurt the horse looked. Like, obviously she didn't discipline him physically. It was just like, you don't do that. And it was just froze. And I'm like, that is crazy that this horse that I literally just, the sliding doors on the stalls? This same horse had an attitude, lifted up, took the door off the wheels and took off running with this door around its neck, was the one that got disciplined and looked shy. What freaked me out too, just because I haven't been around it, is we went to pick up the door and it was so freaking heavy. Like me and her had to struggle to pick this door up, and I was like, I just saw that horse run with it. And that's not even a bull. 2,000 pounds or whatever.
And that's the thing, is those bulls they're a lot of time they're mostly muscle. Like they're big, solid dudes, and they're a lot like deer too. They can run and jump a fence if they want, a 6-foot fence. Like it's
crazy.
No big.
If you saw a big ass bull jump that high, it'd be like a demon.
And that's the thing, is it's they're not getting easier to fight or whatever, like they're continuing to make them grow and be better and meaner and stronger and faster and everything,
Wow.
So like I said, it's such a crazy thing to be on the outside looking in. It's like, this is one, it's a dumb job. 2, it's a badass job. 3, it's the craziest job in the world.
It's insane.
Yeah.
Man, before we move on from that, I have a question. With your dad being so involved, he was the rider, right?
Yep.
What was his thoughts seeing you progress so well?
So I'll never forget one of my very first rodeos close to home was in Enid, Oklahoma. And I would just show up, whenever I first get started, I would just show up any rodeo, anywhere, and ask if I could fight bulls. I wasn't even hired to go. I was just trying to get my foot in the door. And they let me fight the practice. So they'd have the rodeo. Then after the rodeo, they'd have a practice where they'd buck 10 or 15 or whatever. And I'll never forget, this bull hooks me under the fence. And I look up, and my mom and dad just so happen to be standing right there. And my mom, she's bawling her eyes out. She's scared to death. And my dad, he's got a shit-eating grin on his face, and he's laughing. He's loving every second of it, And so for him, I think it's cool because I kind of followed in his rodeo footsteps in a way, and so he loves it. Obviously my mom loves it now too, but I think he was obviously proud of me for doing something like this and kind of continuing his legacy, I guess you could say.
What's his name?
Mike. Yep.
Man, I bet he looks at his son like, what the?
Yeah, this idiot. Yeah.
But I mean, it's normal to him because he rode him.
Yeah. And then too, it's such a different time than whenever he was riding, because whenever he was riding, there weren't helmets, there weren't vests, there was no protection, for bull riders. He was telling me a story, it's very gruesome, but back then too, the bull's horns were sharp. They actually come to a point now, the rules are the bull's horns need to be tipped to a 50-cent piece so they can't actually stab you or whatever. He was telling me him and his buddy were rodeoing, and his buddy got stabbed, and his
lifted up by his rib cage?
Well, his insides were out, type of thing, and my dad had to like go talk to him,
put him in there, or he
no,
died?
no, he had to. My dad had to talk to him while the medics were handling him and stuff, And I'm pretty sure the guy is still alive or whatever. But like that's kind of how rodeo has changed, Like my dad seen like the gory stuff, and like it wasn't easy back then. There was no cell phones to call home or text mom and say you're hurt or whatever. Whenever I started, I got to get a cell phone early because my mom wanted me to check in and stuff, and
Whoa.
and so if I was going to get hurt, there's enough people around. My mom would always have a phone on her that they could call and tell her like, hey, your son's hurt or whatever it was, Unfortunately,
the guts hanging out is crazy.
Yeah.
Especially because that's someone he knows.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the thing about rodeo too, is it's literally like driving your car down the interstate. Like it could happen that fast. Somebody could run into you, or you could blow a tire or whatever. And when it's your time, it's your time. There's no getting away from it. And rodeo is just kind of like add another thing to it. It's like, it's so dangerous, but it's such a fulfilling job too, in a way.
Man, explain that to me before we move on, because like, why is stuff that's so dangerous, but you can control the level of danger to an extent? Why is that so not only fulfilling, but like attractive?
Yeah. I think it's to me, it's like one of those things where me and my wife always joke around, like whenever I die, I want to be in my casket used up. Like I want there to be holes in my boots, and I want to be busted and bloody type of thing, because like I
used it.
I slid into the grave. My wife's like, I want to be prim and proper and everything fine with me type of thing whenever I die. And like, I think being a man, even like a country boy type of thing, like for me is like, I want to use it. I want to use it. I want to be in control of the situation. This is how I like, this is what I want. So this is what I'm going to do, and it's, I don't think there's any pride in it or anything for me. It's, I don't know. It's so different, I guess, from what a lot of people do. And, to me, it's just like being able to control the situation in a way, and not that I'm super controlling or whatever, or anything like that. But like, I don't know. I think there's just for me, it's kind of like a manly thing about like being able to control a 2,000-pound animal.
Yeah, I would definitely want to be around you if like a wild animal is going crazy. Even though you're a bullfighter, I would like lump you in to protect me in any situation. I'm like, no, he can fight grizzlies too, I think. Like, that's how you would feel. Mm-hmm. That is cool. And the only reason I ask is because like combat sports or rock climbing or even surfing or what is it, like when you dive for fish, spear fishing.
Oh yeah.
All those things are like so dangerous, but so fulfilling.
Yeah.
So it's really interesting. I have a cousin in Hawaii, and I'm supposed to go see him next year, and he's done that like his whole life. Yeah. And I was like, so you can show me? And he's like, yeah, I can show you how to do it from start to finish. And it's like, man, it'll be so crazy to do that with someone that knows what they're doing, because you're going to be so nervous.
Yeah. Like you said, I think it's the fulfillment part, because we can go to the grocery store and buy fish off the shelf, or we can dive to the bottom of the ocean and catch our own fish.
Yeah.
And, and it's like the fulfillment of like, I got this out of the ocean type of thing, rather than I got this off the shelf, you know? So
yeah, I get it. Well, man, I can't thank you enough for breaking it down, especially for someone that doesn't know much.
Yeah.
You had mentioned it earlier, and that's even how me and Mike came across each other, was real estate and the podcast. So it's nice to know that you have a little diversification in your plans as well. So what does real estate look like for you? You said your wife's a realtor, and then you also have rental properties and things.
Yeah. So we started the beef business in 2018, and then I was like, well, what else can we do to continue to make money on the side of making money, I guess, So the goal with the beef was to surpass the rodeo income, and then still build the rodeo and still have the beef. But then it's like, well, what other layer can we add on to it? So I was like, it's funny. I've got one of my best friends, one of the best cattlemen I know, but also like one of the smartest money people I know too. He gave me Dave Ramsey's book 5 or 6 years ago, and it's all about budgeting, like getting out of debt, And
I'm listening. I'm gonna let him
know. It's all about budgeting, getting out of debt, and we'd show up to some rodeos and have a $70,000 pickup.
Come on, Forrest, go.
And we'd have a $70,000 pickup that we're making payments on. It's like, this is stupid debt, Like, we don't need, like, this is dumb. So we slowly started paying everything off. And then the same guy was like, he was extreme budget, don't be in debt. And then the next year he gave me Rich Dad Poor Dad from Robert Kiyosaki.
Yeah.
And I like,
what a change of pace.
oh yeah, it's like goes from not being in debt to being in debt. And I was like, dang, maybe we should try and buy some rental properties. And that could be the next layer, So we've got rodeo, we've got beef, and then now we'll add rental properties on top of it, because the rental deal, you don't have to be there every day. You don't have to, like what we do is we don't manage them. We've got property managers and stuff. And I was like, let's buy some and kind of see how it goes and stuff. And we bought one, and I remember it was the scariest thing ever. I think we paid like $40,000 or $50,000 for it. It's this cute little rental house in Enid.
Oh, nice.
And it's honestly, I think right now it's vacant, but this is the first time it's been vacant since probably 20 or 21. It's an awesome little house.
I should have hit you up when I was selling this house in Enid.
Yeah.
You might have wanted it.
Yeah, now you know. But yeah, then we slowly started buying some more. And the goal is obviously to continue to grow. We're not like hot and or I guess I'm not hot and heavy into the rental deal. Like I'm always looking at deals and stuff to see if they'd work or whatever. And if the right deal comes across, we'd probably buy it. But yeah, we bought a couple, and then we had some friends call us and tell us to come to Eufaula. So we bought an Airbnb in Eufaula.
Nice.
And it was exciting at the time. And it's funny because we bought a lake house, but the year we bought it, got it all fixed up, ready to go. We had to completely remodel this whole thing. Then it started raining, and literally it rained so much at the lake that they closed the lake because the lake was too full. So the Airbnb kind of busted, and so now we actually got a tenant going to move into it here in the next week or two, nice. Which like for us was like, all right, like let's have a plan A, plan B, plan C for the rental. So like if we can't Airbnb it, can we long-term do it? And if we can't long-term, can we just turn around and sell it? So we bought the house, like we made our money when we bought the house. Yep. We found a really good deal, put some money into it. Now it's worth way more than what we paid for it. We tried the Airbnb. It didn't really work out like we wanted it to. Now we'll put a tenant in it, and now we'll cash flow from the tenant. So it's still a win, even though it's not like really what we wanted it to be right off the bat. But
options.
Yeah, and that's a great thing about real estate. Is one, I always tell people, if you can buy land, because they're not making any more of it. Mm-hmm. It might be expensive right now, and it's so funny because there's 160 acres about a mile from the house, and I think they want like $900,000 for it, which is like to where we are, it's insane money. Mm-hmm. Like $900,000, and it's like in 10 years, how much is that 160 acres going to cost? It might be 1.9. Mm-hmm.
Or more.
Or more. So it's like, if we don't buy it now, we're going to kick ourselves later because we didn't buy it, And even though it's expensive, if we can turn cattle on it, or if we can kind of divide it up a little bit, maybe put a rent house on part of it to help pay for the actual land itself or whatever, what can we do to make this land worth it? And we actually bought a small piece of land and just a couple miles from the house. And what we're going to do is we're actually going to build some cattle pens on it. We're going to move Swisher Beef over to it and then have a bunch of other cattle to start on. And then, so for 5, 10, 20, 30 years, it's going to be the cattle farm for now. And then in the future, we can divide it up and sell little couple acre ranchettes or whatever we want. We could build a barn dominium house on it and turn around and flip it that way. But my thought is let's try to buy up as much as we can now, because real estate, it might be slow, but it's always continuing to grow and grow and grow.
Yeah, especially in a state like Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Where it's still obtainable, because you may look at 10 acres in a certain area of the country and it may be 900,000.
Yeah, exactly. And that's been our deal, is like the real estate's, it's cool because it's different and I love different things. And like I said, whenever I figured it out, I kind of dove into it. We'd listen to Bigger Pockets podcasts, like it was going out of style. And
I love to know that. You never know what people are into. And like, that's what I do full time as realtor and then real estate investor. So I buy property as well. So to hear these similar conversations, it's cool to know like anyone can do it. Everyone's taking these similar steps. It just takes action.
And it's so funny too, because like there's a Kingfisher's wheat fields and oil patches is pretty much what we're known for. It's small town. A lot of our buddies might have the regular 9-to-5 jobs that are they're doing all right, but they're not, I guess, getting ahead. They're in the same motion every single day, and they're like, oh, Swishers must have so much money. You guys got X amount of rent houses or whatever. And we're actually like, No, honestly, like we've got rent houses, but the bank owns most of them, because we're in smart debt. We don't have stupid vehicle debt. We've got the debt we have is on real estate, because the cool thing is we've got a tenant in this house that's paying the mortgage for the house. Now, the loan on the house is going down every month because the tenant's paying for it. It makes X amount of money cash flow every month, but then the house is increasing in value. Yeah. Appreciating every year. So this $50,000 house might make us $200 or $300 cash flow now, but next year it's going to be a $60,000 house. The year after it's going to be a $70,000 house.
What's crazy about that too is it could be even less on the cash flow.
Yeah.
And I think some people think, and even I was guilty of it, thinking like the rental houses would instantly be like all this income.
Yeah.
Sometimes you may be breaking even, but it's like a long-term play.
Yep, exactly.
And I will say this too, Kingfisher has actually been good to me personally. I've got 2 rentals and a cul-de-sac in Kingfisher.
Oh, yeah.
And they've been good.
Yeah, heck yeah.
And then I had a partner that did 2 flips, and I just was the listing agent on them. And we sold both of those. It's right by that elementary school.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So it's been actually a pretty good market.
Yeah. It's funny because Kingfisher is such a hot market. And it's a hard market right now to find any good investment deals.
Oh, yeah.
Because there's nothing really under $150,000. Everything we have in Kingfisher is always rented really, really good, and it's never empty for long.
Even that one we had, it was empty for like a month, and then we put someone else in it.
Yep. That's all. Had no idea you guys had property in Kingfisher. That's cool.
Well, 2 on the same cul-de-sac, because this is just power of conversation. Yeah. We bought a house on North Vermont, which is over here by me. I'm on Northwest Expressway. He had people in Kingfisher that had a house they wanted to sell, but the people that had the house that they wanted to sell in Kingfisher, they actually owned 2 in the cul-de-sac. Oh, yeah. And they were both wrecked.
Yeah.
So we bought those. One's been doing really good with like a long-term tenant. The other one is like kind of hit or miss, but it's still been working.
Yeah. Yep.
And it's something to where like, even if it's hit or miss or it costs a little money here and there, whenever you do want to sell it, you're going to make money.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I tell everybody. That's like, I've probably had 1,000 people reach out that are close friends or whatever. They're like, hey, we want to get in real estate because you make it look so awesome. And I'm like, just so you know, like real estate is not sexy. Like we're not getting rich fast by all means, but like our goal with real estate is literally it's the crock pot. We set it and forget it. We want to buy as many houses as we can and turn them over to the property management, and just in 30, 40 years, we'll be way better off, but we know right now we'll kind of bust it for a little bit, maybe make just a little bit of cash flow or whatever, but we know in the few years it's going to appreciate. We could turn around and sell if we have to. Rent's going to continue to go up, whatever it might be, or we'll have the equity in it from the tenant paying down the loan, So for us, it's like, hey, like here's the real estate. Like all the money gets put in the real estate account. We don't ever touch it because we don't have to. Like the beef and the rodeos paying all of the bills. Nice. So real estate is like we're just going to build the account up till we get to X amount, and then we'll go buy another house. Then that house is going to now add $50 or $200 a month cash flow, and we'll take the cash flow, build it up to X amount, go buy another house, and just continue to do that. And then my goal too is with real estate is to be in as much debt as possible with them. Like I don't want to be in pickup debt or boat debt or RV debt because it's not paying me it's not making me any money. But if we can buy a house in 10 years, refinance it, cash out refinance, take that money, go buy 2 more houses. Now we got 3 houses sending us money. And then 10 years, do that with the 3 houses, cash out refinance, and go buy 6 more houses, and then just slowly build up that way, And
and then like worst case, because you said like when you buy right, and that's what, Robert Kiyosaki, you make your money when you buy. Even if just like for some reason your lifestyle changed, and you all are like, you know what, we don't want to have a property management company and we just want to dip. Then you just sell those homes you have, and you're gonna come out on top. And so it's nice to see people that are diversified like that, because then like for you to be a bullfighter and then a rancher and then a real estate investor is something that maybe people wouldn't be able to like fathom putting together. But that's why I said like anybody can do these things. Like you've got something for passion. You've got something that is not as sexy, but definitely long term. And then you've got something that's like a project that you're working on now. It's like you said earlier, when you had all that experience from rodeo, that was probably your culture. That's all you were, is rodeo. And now you've been able to transform that into Swisher Beef, but also do something else on the side that's going to pay you off even better in the end.
Yeah, exactly. And COVID really was a big eye opener for me in rodeo, you know, because like I said, like rodeo, like I woke up thinking rodeo, I went to bed thinking rodeo was it. And we started our beef deal. And thankfully we did when we did, because when COVID happened, I seen a lot of rodeo people that all they know is rodeo literally go from being on top of the world, going every week to a different place, different rodeo, to now they're sitting at home. They don't have a job. They're going to have to go to McDonald's or something, you know, to be able to pay the bills because they can't rodeo because the world is shut down. But thankfully we had beef and the beef picked up. And so that was paying our bills. But then it really opened my eyes as like, dang, like rodeo is not forever. Mm-hmm. Like, so we need to like, don't get me wrong. Like I still love rodeo, but we don't need to be rodeo. Like we can rodeo, but we don't need to be rodeo. We need to like really think about everything else outside the box type of thing. That's awesome. Yeah. And so on the real estate deal too, it was like another thing of what else can we have that people always need? Beef, people always got to eat. Real estate, you always need somewhere to sleep. You know, and some of our houses, don't get me wrong, like they're not the fanciest or whatever. We're not slumlords by all means. They're still nice little cute houses, but they're not $200,000-$300,000 houses. Anywhere from 50 to 100,000. 100,000 is kind of our range.
Yeah, but if you have 25 of those,
yeah,
or you get to 60 of those because you keep refinancing and scaling. I mean, that's a different ballgame.
Yep. And like I said, we know it's a slow burn, and like our goal is to let real estate build up enough to where we can buy another one, and then we'll just stack it on top of the others, and then just keep going and go from there. So
that's awesome.
Yeah,
man, I appreciate you a lot. I was looking forward to this because I've been keeping up with you on things, but the beauty of the podcast is, like I said, with the real estate and us being on similar podcasts or listening to similar podcasts and like Rich Dad Poor Dad, all these things, it's cool to see the similarities with people from such a range.
Yeah, like, exactly.
Now I can say a bullfighter and some random person that's like, I don't know, like an MMA fighter, like have similar mindsets on real estate or similar mindsets here. So it's really cool to see what works because it is simpler than you think. It just takes a lot of hard work.
Yeah. And that's the thing is real estate, it can be very scary, and they call it like analysis by paralysis or paralysis by analysis or whatever, you know. And I remember our first deal, I was like, I don't know, like it's so freaking scary. But then it's like, I've been a bullfighter for 20 years. Like I've literally risked my life for 20 something years. I was
probably like over 1,000 times or more.
Yeah.
Minimum.
So I've literally risked my life. Like what's $15,000, $20,000? It's not going to ruin, like my life isn't going to be over. And I always tell Carolyn, is like, if we come across a deal where we think it's going to be good and it turns out to be bad, we might have paid $15,000, $20,000, whatever it might be. But just think, like, to me, it's like, that's what college cost somebody, or that's not even close to a degree, you know?
Yeah, or like some type of course or something you go to learn. Yeah. I mean, you're just getting your lessons a different way. You're going to pay it in some way.
Exactly. So my thinking is if we spend that money and it busts, we learned a very valuable lesson. Mm-hmm. There's been times where, like, even in the beef business, we've used a different butcher or whatever, like during COVID, because the butchers were so backed up. We used one butcher and they pretty much ruined the beef. So we sold this family a whole beef, and these people are out thousands of dollars for this beef. They call me and they're like, "Hey Chuck, the packages on the beef is bad. Like now the beef is freezer burnt because the packaging is bad." And it wasn't on us; it was on the butcher shop. So we had to eat it. We're like, "Hey, you can trash it, donate it, whatever. We'll send you a whole beef, but we're going to use a better butcher just so we know that it's done right, you know." And that's just kind of part of the risk of all of it. We're like, I'm willing to literally dive off in head first for the risk. You got to risk it for the biscuit, is what I always say. Is like, to me, it's not scary buying a house. You know, I'll still get jitters or whatever, but I know we're not going to make a ton of money right up front, but in the long run, it's going to be way better than it is now. And I've tried to talk all my brothers and sisters and all my friends and family into doing it, you know. And like I said, I always tell them it's not sexy at all. Like, don't get your hopes up that you're going to go and be this huge millionaire right off the bat, because it's going to take a little bit of time to get the fire burning. But in 10 years, you're going to be like, dang, I'm glad I bought that $100,000 house, because now that $100,000 house is $300,000.
Yeah, and
whatever
even
it
if
might
you
be.
just have a few of those.
Yeah,
It's already a
exactly.
good thing.
And that's the cool thing for us is like I'm very focused on Swisher Beef right now. Like the rental properties, like having the property management, like we pay them to handle all the issues, they do all the work. Every now and then we'll get a call and say, hey, Chuck, we need to cut this tree down, or what do you think about that? It's a phone call. It's not like a, hey, Chuck, the house burned down or whatever. And if it was a phone call that the house burned down, that's why you have insurance. Insurance covers that, And then people are like, what if you get a bad tenant? And well, it happens. You go in, you clean it up, you paint the walls, you fix the hole, whatever it is. You turn around, you rent it again and just continue to go.
Just like I said with that Kingfisher, when we had like not the best experience with one, and just switch it out.
Yep. We'll rinse and repeat.
Man, you're interesting and cool, man. I appreciate it a lot. Like I said, I was looking forward to it, but it's just exciting to meet people like you because I not only get to learn the different sides, but it's like just creating such a cool new relationship. Like literally, like you said, put food on my table. Yeah. So it's just awesome, man. Did you have anything else you wanted to share that I maybe missed?
I think that's
I
it,
feel like
man.
that was pretty damn cool.
Beef, rodeo, real estate. That's my life right now. So,
well, I'm looking forward to your future, and the door's always open. You're always welcome to come back. But I hope to stay connected and do more in life together.
Yeah,
but this has been really cool, man.
Yeah, if you want to sell those deals in Kingfisher, let me know.
I got you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, man. We'll get out of here.
Yes, sir.